Hi guys, welcome to Classic Rock and Country Music Facts and Trivia. Appreciate you being here. Please subscribe if you would. Thank you. Today's video, let me ask you, if Waylon Jennings came up to you and said you are the greatest country singer ever, you'd have to believe it, right? I mean, it's Waylon Jennings. Well, that's just what he said about Keith Whitley. I gotta agree. Let's take a look. The great Keith Whitley passed away tragically in 1989 at the very young age of 34 from alcohol poisoning after a long struggle with addiction. But make no mistake, his lasting impact on the country music community is one that is still felt to this day. And while his career was tragically cut short after just 2 albums, 3 more were released posthumously, including Sad Songs and Waltzes, some would go as far as to call Keith the greatest to ever do it. Some would include Waylon Jennings. Barry Walsh, Waylon's former piano player, sat down with Otis Gibbs and told him some cool stories about his touring days with Waylon. Apparently, Waylon was a big card player and was always gracious with signing autographs and talking to fans, unless he was eating. He would always make it known to his employees and band members that the autographs and extra stuff weren't actually part of his job description, though, and he was really only there to get on stage and play the show. Classic Waylon. Anyway, Barry has lots of fond memories of being in Waylon's band, but a couple of them stick out more than the others. One of which was the time he went to Waylon's house to tell him he was leaving the band, and he said he was shaking in his boots on the way there. And even though they had a great relationship, Barry was terrified to disappoint his boss, but Waylon took it well and told him he was doing the right thing. And the other thing he remembers very clearly happened a few years after Barry had left the band, and it was the day Keith Whitley died. Barry was on his way to his own house in Franklin, Tennessee, when he decided to stop by Waylon's to check on him, knowing how much he loved Keith. Waylon's wife, Jessie Coulter, answered the door and sent him to the den. Barry and Waylon sat down on the couch and watched the local news about Keith together about an hour or so, but just talking it all in. And at one point, Barry remembers Waylon looking at him and saying, "Hoss, that was the greatest country singer ever." Needless to say, he took it pretty hard. He was gutted. He was really, really upset about that, as a lot of us were. To hear such high praise from an icon like Waylon Jennings is a serious deal. I mean, if Waylon says you're the greatest, then you're the greatest, right? Keith didn't live too far from, or didn't come from too far from where I live. He's a Kentucky boy. And they was going to do a movie about his life at one time. I forget what the name of it was. And I got a friend who was like in the top 5 to play him. His name was Kevin Denny. You might have heard of him. He had a couple top 10 hits in 2003. But it never came to fruition, which is kind of sad because, I mean, the man had a life. I'm going to do one on him, and it's not really pretty, but I'm going to do one sooner or later when I want to put it together, and I don't want to seem to be insulting or anything because he was a good guy, great musician, great singer. But as our Uncle Bob says, it is what it is. Appreciate you guys being here. Please don't forget to subscribe, and have a great day. God bless. Praying for you.